SBN, Sports Business Now.
Hello and welcome to Sports Business Now interview series. I'm Holly Koski, and SBN interview series is, what it sounds like, an interview series where we talk to industry executives about unique things that they're doing within their organization or team. So if you have any questions or have opinions, please let us know on Twitter using the hashtag SBNow. And today we're actually joined by Ty Nowell of the Los Angeles Lakers, and he is the new media manager, kind of heading up all of their social media and everything like that, right, Ty?
That's right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And you guys have really done some pretty incredible and innovative things as far as infographics and Instagram. So if you want to just go into a little bit about your whole digital strategy for not only, using infographics, but your other social media strategy for the season as well.
Yeah, we started using, all of our social media stuff around All-Star in 2009. Right, in February there, kind of after Shaq started and all the teams in the NBA started to get on, and it's kind of progressed from there. Instagram came up, and it's been a great way to share a lot of pictures, and a lot of the things that we've done on there have been like countdowns to training camp, opening day, those kind of things, just to get everybody excited. And then we started doing the infographics. It's something I've wanted to do for a couple of years, but being that I was doing the website and doing video and all that kind of stuff, it wasn't really feasible just time-wise. And this year we got some more staff, and we got a great designer named Jay Alexander Diaz, who's on staff now, and he's been helping out with it, and it's something that we started to do, and it's got a great response.
Yeah, especially, the opening day infographic, correct, where you did one against the Dallas Mavericks, correct?
Yeah, we did one after the game for that, just kind of to tell a story, because the way the game stories and box scores are going, it doesn't really apply that much anymore. I mean, I was always the kid that, was reading all the box scores in the paper the next day and, memorizing stats and those kind of things. And so those always fascinated me, but it's not for everybody. It's kind of more of a hardcore fan thing that you really have to dig into. And game stories, I don't know anyone that reads game stories anymore. Maybe, you read the column and you read the opinion, but just the straight, what happened, it's such a formulaic thing that we were trying to look for something different. So doing it in a graphical way, kind of telling the game through stats and, putting it out there in a way that people can consume visually was a big thing for us. And just kind of, showing what happened in the game by, some key stats, and then we're throwing in, tweet of the night, quote of the night, other things like that. Unfortunately, we haven't done one for a win yet, so we're kind of working on that, because we lost opening night, and a lot of it was turnovers, so, that was kind of our key stat, and just things like that.
Well, the Lakers have not had the best start this year, but I'm sure that will turn around as, chemistry with Dwight Howard and everything comes together. But you guys have definitely capitalized on Kobe Bryant, especially with his 30,000th point. Talk a little bit about just the whole process with that.
Yeah, Kobe's 30,000 point, everybody knew it was coming up. There were a lot of countdowns. It was something that Laker fans have been looking forward to really since last year, because the last couple of years he's been the youngest to 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, so everybody knew that 30 was coming up. And it was just something that we wanted to capitalize on with an infographic and do it really cool and, show just different parts of his game. And so we broke it down into, how many points he scored per season and how many games he played that season, because the guy's played through 2 lockouts. So to still be the youngest to those numbers is pretty impressive, even though, there was one season where he only played 50 games, one season where he only played 58 games. Just to break it down in another way to show, how many free throws. He's been to the line a ton. He actually got 25% of his points from the line, because he went to the rack a lot in his younger years. And then 3-pointers as well, because, being a guard, he plays inside and outside. We kind of highlighted a lot of the things, like the other people that are in the 30,000 point club, because there's only 5, and 4 of them have Laker ties, even though Karl Malone only played 1 year for us. But Kareem, Wilt Chamberlain obviously are pretty heavily associated with the Lakers, and Kobe. And everybody likes anything that's Kobe, Michael Jordan related, so he's in there too. And we showed, like, the thing that I liked the most on there was probably the 8 and 24, because there's a subsection of fans that remember him as 8 and a subsection of fans that remember him as 24. I mean, I grew up in LA and everything, so I remember as 8, but my first season with the Lakers was when he changed to 24. So that's also a big thing there. And they're pretty even. By the time he's done, it's going to be pretty close, which is kind of interesting. He also, being that he started so young at a high school, he had, between teens, 20s, and 30s. That was kind of interesting to us, like, how many points he scored in each decade of his life. And one of the coolest things, I think, is just 30-point scoring games. I mean, it's pretty crazy to think that he played something like 1,180 games, and he's had 388 30-plus games. So pretty much if you've seen him play 3 times, you've seen him go 30-plus on you. So, yeah.
That's so cool what you guys did with the 8 and 24. Like, a casual fan may not, think, oh, he's had more success with the 24 or vice versa. And to see that visually is really cool. And especially just the point breakdown, by season, I think that's a really good indicator of just his overall dominance. And like you said, people aren't looking at the box score and analyzing statistics over the long term like they used to. And so to put that in a graphical way is really, really cool. So if you want to go into maybe the response from fans that you've received or just like the process that you guys go through, because I know you guys do a couple of infographics, while not every night, but just kind of for like marquee events.
Yeah, they've gotten a great response from the fans and everybody on social media. That's great because our fans, not all of them can watch our games, being that we have such a worldwide fan base. I mean, we get messages from everywhere. We get messages from, the Philippines, Thailand, Jordan, Iraq. It's crazy. They're just everywhere. So if they can't watch the game, it's a great way to kind of break it down for them and give them a more interesting feel for the game. So we've been trying to do them after certain games, like, the Friday night games that are bigger, or we'll start doing more towards when the season gets going a little more. I mean, we're still only 20 games in, so the fact that we've done 3 for post-game ones are pretty interesting. We're going to start mixing it up, doing some as a preview for bigger games maybe, and then, when playoffs, All-Star come around, there's just so many opportunities that you can do with these things if you have someone to do it and, have the idea for it.
And, infographics are relatively new, especially in sports. What are some of the challenges you guys have faced as a team, kind of overcoming this hurdle?
I mean, really, it's just been time. I mean, doing one after a game, our game started at 7:30. We get done at 10. We're not done in the locker room till 11-ish. And, then we're starting to do these after that. Jay does a great job. He's thinking about a lot of things during the game. We're talking during the game about what stats are standing out, if it's turnovers, if it's offensive rebounds, just anything that you can think of. So time's really been a thing. And I mean, for the Kobe one, we knew what we wanted to do, but you still can't really plug it in. We didn't know that he was going to finish at 30,016 that night. We couldn't just make it for 30,000 and guess. So him and I were up till about 4:30 in the morning that day, going back and forth about everything and trying to get everything right, and then, double checking things and making sure that everything's correct. And so basically just time. Ideas, we're all sports fans, so we know exactly, we know what people want to see and what the fans are looking for. And they've given us some great ideas too for the post-game stuff. So we always hear back from them, so that's great.
Yeah, that's super important as well, knowing what the fan wants and then, producing that. Switching gears a little bit to Instagram. You guys are one of the few teams that are actually pulling Instagrams onto your website. And you've really, done really great things with Instagram, especially incorporating text on some of those pictures. Describe some of your strategy going forth with Instagram.
Instagram's been great for us because it's a little stickier than, Twitter and Facebook are, that, things go through so quick. An Instagram picture will still be getting viewed the next day and the day after. So that's been great for us to be able to connect with the fans that way and just take them kind of behind the scenes. A lot of the things that we try to do on Twitter, but maybe we don't want to flood our Twitter timeline with too many pictures, when we're trying to do a lot of, informational things and interactions. So Instagram's been great that we can throw a lot of pictures on there and show people more of what's going on around the team and just keep giving them, kind of that, pulling back the veil a little bit to show them what's going on in the world of the Lakers. I love doing the ones where we kind of, we did a great one with Kobe, with a quote about the offensive system from earlier in the season when, we've been trying to do more things like that and just highlighting, special things that, when he got the most steals in Lakers history. All those things that people really respond to when you tell a little story with it. It's not just a picture, a picture, has a virality to it that people really feel, but you give them a little story to go behind it and it really takes off.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fantastic what you guys have been doing. We see one with Paul Gasol here with 15,000 points, so kind of another Kobe-esque Instagram or infographic, and you guys definitely have plenty of ammo to go on as far as talent and statistics and everything like that. But the infographic is really bringing statistics to life, and the Lakers are doing a phenomenal job of doing that. So keep up the great work, and thank you so much for joining us, Ty.
Thanks for having me, Ollie.
No problem. Well, join us on tomorrow actually for SBN. Our SBN wrap-up show where we discuss all of the hottest topics on sportsbusinessnow.com. And we will see you tomorrow. Thanks and have a great day.
SBN, Sports Business Now.